Hey, JD here. Welcome to my channel. So here we've got the Valjoux 7750 watch, and I'm binning the parts. So you'll notice I don't bin all the parts as I take them out of the parts bin. So being very careful to put these parts in the smaller containers. The small parts go into the smaller containers, and this is so they don't rattle around with the bigger parts and potentially cause damage. So I have a Pearl watch cleaning machine, and I end up stacking this up and put that into the Pearl watch cleaning machine. I'm trying to keep the parts that are in each one of these little bin areas together in the smaller mesh parts container here. As you can see, I'm picking the parts up with Rodico. Makes it a lot easier. You don't have the chance of dropping the parts or flinging the parts. I'm trying to be very careful so I don't actually hit that the parts bin I have there and then rattle the parts around. I did hit it once earlier, about a week ago, and it sort of jumped a part up, but it was of no consequence. So being very careful. I typically work on pocket watches, not very complex 7750 chronograph movements, but I'm doing this for a friend and trying to get this thing done properly. So these gears here that I'm poking around with, I'm going to clean those in lighter fluid. And there's some other gears I will clean in lighter fluid as well that I don't want to put into the cleaning machine, only because the pivots on those gears are so small, and I'm a little concerned about them sticking through the mesh on the parts bin. Maybe I shouldn't be concerned, but I am, so I'm going to do those by hand. And also the mainspring, I've got to replace that mainspring and take that apart. This little part here I picked up, I'm not sure what that's from. I don't believe it's from that watch. Something else probably. Maybe the pocket watch I put together. So I'm stacking them up here, and I have the main parts, the main plates are on the bottom, and then I cozy this down. And I think I missed a plate and put it in later, but here they are, all the parts ready to go to clean. So that's the step one. So then I went downstairs, I cleaned the watch parts, and it's quite a process. There's one cleaning process, or one cleaning jar with special chemicals for cleaning. They're not cheap. And then the second cleaning jar is your first rinse. And I spin that first rinse in, and then you raise the jar up out of the liquid and then spin it again to get all the leftovers out of the cleaning basket. And then you go to the second rinse and do the same thing. You lower it, you spin it, and then you clean it. And as you're cleaning the second rinse, or as you're doing it, you turn on the heater, and then you flip it around to the heater. So the basket then at the very end goes into the heater, and I'll put that and spin it slowly in the heater for around 5 minutes. Doesn't need any more than that. And that does a perfect job on the watch. Here I'm just replacing the bins here. I took a photograph of this parts container first, so I knew where everything went. I was very worried about those little tiny screws finding their way through the mesh and losing them, so I left the screws out, which is probably not a big deal. They're not they're not a problem. So I left them out, and then I'm putting the parts back exactly where I took them from. That way they're matching up to the screws that I had from before. I decided to do that so I wouldn't have a big issue reassembling. I don't do a lot of these chronographs, so I don't have the memory to remember where these are, where the parts would be grouped. So that's a good way of doing it. Just take the parts bin, take a photograph. I took 3 photographs actually, and then I have the photograph up on my computer screen, and I'm just replacing the parts exactly where I took them out of the bin. That plate you just saw went over to a round parts container, and these are where they went into the bin with the matching screws. So it's all ready to be reassembled from there. So still have to clean the balance with the hairspring, and I still have to replace the mainspring as well. And there's a few parts in there I'm going to do by hand with lighter fluid. So that's it. That's my video for today, and thanks for watching my channel. JD, please subscribe.